my demonstration is all about the Jigsaw Teaching Strategy. Jigsaw Teaching Strategy is a strategy, a cooperative learning strategy in mathematics. There are 6 steps in the Jigsaw Teaching Strategy. In step number 1, divide students into 4 to 6 groups. So in my demonstration, there are 5 groups. We have group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, group number 4, and group number 5. So in each of the group, for group 1, there is a corresponding number of the student. So group 1, number 1 student, group 1, number 2 student, group 1, number 3 student, group 4, number 4 student, and group 1, number 5 student. The same with the other groups. So as you can see, in group number 2, the students have their own numbers. So for we have student number 1, this is group number 2 of student number 1, student number 2, and student number 3, student number 4, and student number 5. The same with group 3, group 4, and group 5.
Oh.
Step number 2, divide your content into 4 to 6 chunks. So in my demonstration, I am talking about the mathematical logical operators. So we have 5 chunks. We have negation, chunk number 1, content number 1, and content number 2 is conjunction. Content number 3 is disjunction. Chunk number 4 or content number 4 is conditional. And the 5th chunk or the content is biconditional. Step number 3, assign 1 chunk of content to each person in the jigsaw group. Based on the step number 3, so each of the content, so for example, for negation, the student number 1 will be having the assignment about the negation. And for the conjunction, student number 2, it is expected that he or she is going to research about the topic conjunction prior to the lesson or the discussion. And another assignment given for the last time about student number 3 is all about disjunction. Then student number 4 is about conditional, and student number 5 is all about biconditional. The same with group number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. They have their corresponding assignment all about the mathematical logical operators. Step number 4, have students meet in expert groups. So for step number 4, the expert of the particular topic, so for red we have negation. So all red color, they are going to proceed to the negation because they are experts on that particular topic. And remember that these topics were already assigned by the different students. So for the negation, the student which has the color red for number 1, group 1, number 1 student, he is going to proceed with the topic negation. The same with group number 2, the student will proceed to the topic negation. To have an expert group, group number 3, student number 1 will proceed to the negation. Group 4, number 1 student will proceed, and group 5 will proceed to the negation. The same with the topic about conjunction. So for the conjunction, the color orange, they are going to proceed, the number 2 student of the different groups will proceed to the conjunction. So student number 2 will proceed to the conjunction. For group 2, proceed to the conjunction. Group 3, proceed to the conjunction. And group number 4 also for the number 2, and group 5 for number 2. Next, we have the topic or the expert on disjunction are the students who have the number 3 in the respective group. So we have 4 groups. So we have disjunction, we have group number 1, the 3rd student, group 2 for number 3 student, then group 4, we have number 3 student, the same with group 3, then group 5. So they have the 3rd student. Then let's now proceed to conditional. So we have yellow color. So the expert of this, of course, we have number 4 student in the respective groups. For group 1, we have number 4 student. Group 2, number 4 student. Group 3, the number 4 student. And group 4, the number 4 student. And group 5, the number 4 student. Okay, then the last topic for the expert group is the biconditional. So they are going to proceed the color green. Group 1, we have student number 5. Group 2, student number 5. Group 3, student number 5. Group 4, student number 5. And group 5, student number 5. So they are going to meet in the expert groups. Step number 5, students return to Jigsaw group. After the expert groups discussing about the different contents, about the negation, the conjunction, the disjunction, the conditional, and biconditional, so they are going to return to the jigsaw groups, their original group. So we have for group 1, student number 1 will return to group 1. For group 1, student number 2 will return to group 1. For student number 3, for group 1 will return to group 1. We have group 1, number 4 student, and group 1, number 5 student. So the same with the other groups. For group number 2, student number 1 will return to the jigsaw group. Student number 2 for group 2 will return to the jigsaw group. We have for number 3 will return. Number 4 will also return to the original group. And the number 5 for group number 2 will return to the original group. The same with group number 3. So for number 3, student number 1 will return to the original group. Student number 2 for group 3 will return to the original group. Student number 3 for the group 3 will return to the original group. We have group number 3 for student number 4 and group number 3, student number 5. The same with group 4. So for group 4, so student number 1 will return to the original group. Then we have number 2, then number 3 for group 4, then number 4 for group 4, and number 5 for group number 4. And the last group or the jigsaw group, we have student number 1, they are going to go back to the original group. We have student number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So again, the step number 5, students return to the jigsaw groups. Step number 6, assess all students and all the content. So based on our jigsaw activity, so the original groups will discuss about the different topics. So we have for student number 1, he or she is going to discuss about the negation. And the rest of the 4 members, they are going to take down notes or they have to take notes all the topic about negation. Then for student number 2, he or she is going to discuss about conjunction. The rest of the members will listen and take down the topic about conjunction. Then group number 1 for student number 3, that is junction, he or she is going to discuss about disjunction. The same with number 4 student about conditional, and number 5 is about biconditional. So the rest of the members will listen about biconditional. For group number 2, the same. The first student will discuss about the negation, and the 4 members will listen and take down notes about negation. Then for the conjunction, number 2 student. Then for the disjunction, we'll discuss about, the number 3 student will discuss about disjunction, and conditional for the number 4 student, and biconditional for the 5th student. So the rest of the groups, they also do about the same activity about the jigsaw technique. After discussing about the topics on mathematical logical operators, the students, they are going to produce or they are going to present the grouping activity. And after that, they present on the board about the topic, or they are going to report the respective ideas and sharing of ideas about logical operators.